Welcome to I Heart Geek. And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. This is a finale time. This is the end of Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian episode season 4, I think.
Oh man, yeah.
It's the Bobalorian.
I'm not even mad about it at this point. I was upset about it when we first started, as I made very clear, but I'm okay with it. I just had to kind of let it go for what it was. There's some things that made me very happy with Boba. We'll get there. I'm Dub. I'm here with Christina. I'm here with Kevin. We're here with Tyler, and we're here with Skeeter. Whoo! Yeah. So what did you guys? We're first impression of this last episode. Just real quick for about 30 seconds. Give me your first impression of this episode. Let's start with Kevin. Sounds about right.
Yeah, that was about it. It was such a beautiful fan service. Everything I wanted. Thank you. So good.
Outstanding. Skeeter.
Nice recovery, Mav.
Yeah.
Literally where I went.
That's a pretty good one, actually. Tyler?
She fell flat.
Of course. And Christina.
Oh my God.
What?
Like I literally watched it 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. 3:00 in the morning, and I just kept watching it.
Yeah. I have to say this, on my first view of it, I watched it twice. On my first view of it, literally, I made noise. I was like, oh, no, yes. And that's emotionally, whether it's a good story or not a good story, if I feel like that, I enjoyed myself. Whether it's an A or an F, I enjoyed myself. And we'll get into, and I'm going to be critical on the grading side of it, because I always am. But on an emotional level, it won. It wins. Yeah, I was very happy. So we're going to do this like we did it last time. We're going to go kind of my version of scene by scene. So I kind of split some scenes because they had some long freaking scenes in this one.
Get ready, everybody.
Yeah. So, okay, let's start with scene 1. And then it starts with the aftermath of the bomb from last week. Now this is what the character is now. Boba Fett is no longer the bounty hunter. Boba Fett is actually the world's last good politician. He's the guy I want to vote for because he actually cares about nothing but the people. This was 100% this is about Boba Fett now. What did you guys think about this first scene with the bombing or post bombing and all that? Let's start with Christine on this one.
Well, I do think he had a little help there because initially he was going to retreat back to the palace. And the minute the mods said what they said, he was immediately like, you're right. And when that happened, that's where I saw him truly become Boba Fett, who he's supposed to be in this series versus Boba Fett, the bounty hunter. And I literally was like, yes. I was so excited that was his decision.
Nice. Okay, Tyler, what about you?
I mean, yeah, I
is this where it started to fall flat for you?
Where he starts, where you start to see he cares more for the people and everything.
Yeah.
More than any sort of mission that he may have, as far as like why he wants to become a crime leader and whatnot. I think you're right there. It kind of seemed like when the mod spoke up, he didn't really have a plan. He was just kind of going by instinct when he wanted to run back to his palace. So he's just like, okay, we'll just fortify this. Sure, yeah, I'm with you. But I think he's doing it out of a good intention now.
Yeah. Peter?
So I really think the conversation was amazing. You see, he's dead set on going back to the palace. We're protected there. But then he goes, hang on, I think I'm going to listen. And he proves himself. That's when I think I saw this leader in Boba Fett that I was like, okay, I can get on board with this. This is cool. And he just, he's like, all right, let's stay here, do what we got to do.
Very good. Kevin?
I think this is the reason why we had the Sandcrawler scene. not sand crawlers, the sand people scene. This was a direct influence from the sand people right here. Is that he's like, okay, no, we're a team. You know, if we're gonna live as a team, we're gonna die as a team. Let's go ahead and fortify this and let's do it. You know.
Yeah. So now I don't think that we're going to see another Boba Fett TV show, but however, I think that we can definitely see this Boba Fett in a lot of other incarnations of Star Wars all over the universe.
Yeah.
Because he is being the politician. And now hold on to this one just for a second. I'm kind of skipping ahead, but I want to say this. How many times did they mention about the armor with Cobb Vanth?
Yeah.
A lot. Do you think he's going to give up the armor and make that part of his cyborg personality that Cobb's going to have? Oh, because they mentioned it.
Fun idea.
4 times throughout this series. You shouldn't have given up the armor. You shouldn't have given up the armor. Now Boba's not going to need the armor anymore.
That's really interesting. And then now all of a sudden you have a reboot of Boba Fett essentially.
Yep, with Cobb. So
Cobb Vanth becomes
that would
taking Boba's position.
I like that.
With the metallurgist, I mean, this guy's a robot maker. And it's amazing.
With Thundercat, yeah.
I love it being Thundercat all day long.
We'll get to that. That's the post-credit scene, but yeah.
So
jumping way ahead.
I really feel like it's going to be awesome, but that's post-credit.
Yeah. So I wanted to hit that before we go to the rest of the stuff, just because I think that is, and that might even change your mind on the falling flat, because that sets up something so amazing that could happen. And I like when they give us that many seeds of stuff. So let's move on to scene 2, and let's see. It's the cowboy and the syndicate. Here is our big reveal. The syndicate killed the Tuskens, not the 1 percenters.
I have a feeling, I mean, one way or another. Syndicate was involved.
So honestly, I think we all knew it was kind of a boring scene, though.
Yeah.
You know,
it was more or less like, here, we talked about this, so here's your answer that you weren't really questioning.
Yeah.
Like,
remember when we did those 2 filler episodes? This is what we were supposed to talk about. So here it is, in a nutshell.
Kind of foreshadowed a little bit of like what was going to happen with the showdown with Boba Fett, though. You know, when he remarked that, "Have you told Boba Fett this?" You know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of knew. Okay, they're just trying to setting up the meeting. Yeah.
I would have liked to have Cobb Vanth without that scene, but then Cobb Vanth reveal it at the last fight. As opposed to having this scene, it would change that whole dynamic, and that's when you have that big reveal. It would have been, to me, it makes more sense that way. But
yeah, so
seemed a little bit over the top, sinister though. Like, look at what
it was definitely mustache twirly.
Yeah, it definitely.
I destroyed the Tuskens. See,
Yeah.
I still found the mayor to be incredibly annoying.
Is it a llama or is it a camel?
I don't know what it is. I just know that it's incredibly annoying. So
Yeah,
Whatever it is, got 2
hammerhead,
mouths,
like
2 stomachs.
so it's like a cow. Speaking of cows, on Peacemaker next week. Oh, sorry. Scene 3. Here comes the X-wing. Grogu. We all knew. Let's be honest. We all knew what was going to happen.
we knew.
We all called it. Grogu chose to leave at a emotionally manipulative, abusive relationship.
Would you?
And go and hang out with a real family, a father figure, instead of some manipulative,
was Yoda
overgrown teenager.
See, I mean, this is why I came prepared. See, I got my little voice. Just in case Dub decides to take a giant steaming shit from my childhood character.
You got so guitared out, dude.
You didn't call Yoda manipulative whenever he's like, "Hey,
Lord.
don't go protecting your friends." Oh, Han Solo and Princess Leia, I know you can hear their cries, but don't go there. Like, it's what they do. It's what the Jedis do. It's what they've done for 9 movies now.
I don't know why this one felt so much worse.
Wow.
Because we think of Grogu as a kid. That's the only reason why. But he's 60 years old, at least.
Well, he was 50. I don't think it's been 10 years since the beginning of Mandalorian.
Okay, you're right.
So 55.
55. He's 55 years old. He's been around.
but he still walks like a 2-year-old, chilling out. Now this is something I love. I've hated everything from the mechanic. Everything. She's a mean-spirited, just rotten human being.
This
She
is
is.
where it all started falling apart.
I don't like her, but she nailed what everybody thinks and what everybody's been thinking since Mandalorian season 2. Grogu. That's a terrible name. I'm not going to call you that.
Yeah.
That was a nice little dig, yeah.
Yeah, we were like, yep, nailed it.
That was for every fan that's been watching, because everybody hates the Grogu name. It's a
Baby
stupid
Yoda.
name. That's why he still gets called Baby Yoda. Yeah. And so, therefore, I forgive a lot of what the mechanic does now since that.
That's funny because for me, I hated his name, but now that's all I see. I just think he's Grogu cute.
I don't know, Tyler. Why don't you look over your shoulder and ask him what he thinks?
Yeah.
He's literally right there.
Do you approve of the name? No, he does not.
No, he does not. Okay. Now let's go. Go ahead.
Oh, the mechanic, as much as I don't like her, and I do agree with you, I think she did, even with this scene, she nailed it, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, I missed you. And she grabs him and hugs. And I actually really thought this scene was like the brace of the scene made me feel things. You know what I mean? She did good.
He's like an overly affectionate aunt.
Yeah.
The kids love till they're like 6, and then they're like, no, she's creepy, stay away.
The reintroduction of Grogu, I think, could have been just done in so many different ways. He lands there.
I'm not going to disagree.
It's her that sees him first that is back. You know, like, really? Like, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm biased because I really don't like her character. But I really think just some epic arrival was due, you know? That is in this where it kind of started falling flat with me because my expectations were too high. I'll admit that. You know, with what they've done, I think they went too far in the last 2 episodes before this, and they just could not keep up that pace. I know
this wasn't the right place to reintroduce him.
Tatooine, but
yeah,
you know, it should have started some epic reunion right there. You know, and just here comes Grogu walking down. You know, who knows? But
yeah. Well, I honestly, even as much as I like what happens with him later, I would have liked to seen Grogu show up and reunite with the Mandalorian on a post-credit scene. That whole thing, he sees the armor then, and he hugs, and then they get in the ship and fly off together. There was nothing that was going to satisfy us because they didn't have time.
There was absolutely nothing that was going to satisfy.
This is where I'll start to agree that it's just I wish we had more episodes. Because they had to tie a lot together. They had to bring us a lot in this episode. And I think it fell flat. You know? Could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of questions in this episode.
Uh-huh.
Which is not good for a final episode. Mm-hmm. There should only be like...
It didn't leave a cliffhanger, but it did leave us all with like,
huh?
Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Why did... What? When?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, as I said, on a purely emotional level, we're looking at an A+, but they leave all this stuff that wasn't done right, like at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
I figured it out though.
Okay, fire away.
When they start to do like, when we start to get to a point where we're like not really feeling it, we're kind of lost. They flash Grogu in front of everybody, and it all just like, oh, baby Yoda.
It's all better now.
The shiny object.
Click, click, click. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to scene 4, which is the setup. They've got all the plans in place. We got the Vespa kids, we got the Gamorreans, we got Kristan. Yeah, we're good to go. But at that moment, you're like, and it's all we need to do now is wait for Freedom Town. And at that moment, you're like, yep, they're all screwed. And they were. And let's be honest, I don't know if we all did, but I did. We called it with the mob, they were going to turn on everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's the first thing that happened? They did. Because otherwise that would have just been such a wasted scene. Mm-hmm. So there is no more crime families at all. So, yeah. You knew it was all turning around as soon as the cowboy showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, how did you feel about the cowboy showing up? Was that too much? Should have waited a bit, maybe? or were you guys like, this is where we need to be? Let's start with Kevin.
I don't know. I kind of felt like, and we all knew it was coming. This scene right here is where when I realized, like, oh, we're gonna end this today. Like, this is actually being ended now. Like, and it kind of locked me into it more. Honestly, I was just like, oh, okay, well, here we go. Let's do this. Right, we're about like the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. I actually looked at the time. I was like, all right, we got another 30 more minutes. So here we go.
they did it fast.
Yeah.
Peter, what about you? Do you think this was a good way of turning it, or?
I think it was. How do I put this without going down the rabbit hole? But this was kind of like that Michael Buffer situation where he like kicked it off. He walked out and was like,
let's get ready to rumble. Yeah.
So it's going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beware. So yeah, it was a good point for that to happen, because immediately the next scene, what goes down.
You knew what. Yeah.
Even with and I'm going to throw this on Tyler. Even with the foreshadowing, and well, we're not going to fight yet, but we're going to fight in a few minutes. I mean, were you okay with all that?
I was okay with it because
Tyler.
I was expecting it.
Yeah.
Before this aired, it was just everybody was kind of talking that there's going to be the showdown. We're going to finally get the duel that we never got, even though there's that unused animation that never went into Clone Wars, I guess, where Boba and Cad had their duel and it put the dent in Boba's helmet and everything. So since we didn't actually get to see that, we knew it was coming. We were going to get something, and the way they set it up was great. I love the whole just he comes walking up and stuff. But could you have any more holes in your defensive plan? Yeah. I mean, we got the mods over here. We got the Wookiee over there, and then Cad just comes walking up the middle of the street. Somebody's here to see you.
As slow as possible too.
Yeah, it was a terrible plan, but I did like the way it all kind of started in. Like you said, it was that moment. It was like, all right, here we go.
Okay, so now let's talk about some of the apparent deaths they have before you find out they don't. Let's start with the Vespa kids. I would rather they win than the Gamorreans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a little upset they died.
Kind of sad.
I feel like they are very much the Jar Jar of this. I don't know.
Paul was pretty intense.
I mean, they just don't fit in this world. It's fine, whatever. And then, of course, the Gamorreans, who deserve so much better. I would rather they survived because they're more interesting than the Vespa kids by far.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've picked it out. They replayed the audio from Return of the Jedi when they dropped the Gamorrean down. They got fed to the Rancor. That pig scream, that was the same scream.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
nice.
There was also, in this episode, there's a famous scream that happens when somebody falls down. It's not the pig scream. It's actually a person scream. It was in the original Star Wars, and they played it in this one, too, as well.
Yeah. And then the Kirstan one was the one that actually bothered me a lot, because I thought he was gone.
Yeah.
The way I was like, oh, this is such a great character.
Didn't really like how that all went down either. I mean, come on, bro, you got a gun.
It made them all look way weak.
Yeah, super weak. Like, dude, start blasting. Come on, Chewie would have just laid waste. As soon as he was like, nope, back to the corner.
Well, even the Kirstan we saw from earlier was ripping people's arms off.
Yeah,
there was none of that, and I thought that was weak sauce.
There was a little bit of that in this episode.
So. Yeah, let's move on a little bit. I am starting to like Fennec more. She goes in with the sniper rifle. I'm starting to like her more.
Her character's grown on me for sure.
I've never really cared much for her, but she's definitely growing.
I feel like there's some pushback. There's a lot of pushback, especially with the whole conversation on the spice.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that I don't know. Maybe there's some dissension. It's hard to read that one. But I love her character. She's definitely a strong one.
But I don't think she's going to want to walk away from all that money.
No, No, but
So
they're
there's
walking
got to be some.
Yeah.
She's going to
Fight.
cross her. She's going to cross Boba at some point.
Yeah, she made mention of that. Just how much
Yeah.
money was in that spice trade. Something good come of that probably.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like someone that would walk away from that much money.
What was the deal? Where are you going, Fennec? she did all her business right at the end after the fight was over.
Yeah,
Did you need to leave? Like
that
that's her strongest ally.
she does
there.
a lot of leaving.
She does. Yeah, she just.
And she is one of she's one of your stronger cards, and she hides under the table a lot.
Yeah,
that sounds bad, but y'all know what I meant. So let's go to scene 5 with the negotiations.
Oh,
Mhm.
so good.
That was good.
Let's be honest. It was forecast so heavy that we knew he was going to tell everybody to stick it with that. But still, there was nothing else that could happen at that moment that would have made me happy. I loved it. I cracked up, even though I knew it was coming. Because, you got that weasel and you knew he wasn't going to read it. He's like, oh, Boba Fett's not going to give him anything. And I'll give you nothing. His words, not mine. And
yeah,
and
we were so close. I think it was the second episode we did on this. I said, it'd be nice if he took a blaster, and I was so close to getting my wish. Because that's what I thought. I'm like, he just sent him out there to get shot. Like,
I think he's very much going to be
of this guy,
But I think that we're going to keep him forever, honestly.
Oh, there's like a whole love thing going on with the mechanic there. It seemed they had some vibes.
Well, yeah. Well, she likes weaker men, so I mean that might be her thing.
I don't know if he's that hairy though.
They're hairy.
He has no hair, does he?
No.
He's got
I
tails.
am not sure on what we're going to do about that one.
Twilight's supposed to be great lovers, so I don't know.
Ew.
Which Star Wars book are you reading?
I don't.
Yeah, Twilight's are known.
He's
Yeah,
reading.
no.
He's reading fanfic. We'll leave it at that.
What? Anyway,
Family friendly. Okay.
I'll send you some stuff later.
Please don't.
Don't open that link.
No, I don't want it. Okay. Now now we have the Mando fighting with Boba, and this is the Boba we've all been waiting for the entire time.
Oh my god.
He was he slower? Cool. Did he slow down? Yes. Was he more hardcore than he used to be? Yes. He was a smarter fighter. The whole cowboy moves, all of that stuff. Oh, and we lost Christina. She's having internet problems. So, yeah, y'all know her fantastic stuff, and so our show's going to hurt a little bit, but we'll keep on going. Let's start with Tyler. What did you think of that fight? Those two in tandem.
I love that. I love the exchange they had. Boba's willingness to just listen, bro. I'm making a stand. I'm doing this. He whether it was a smart decision, whether it's the best laid tactical plan, Boba sticks with what he's doing. He doesn't back down. He doesn't try to skirt to the side and let everybody else.
I get where you're going with that. Yeah.
It was really cool. And then the whole exchange about, do you really believe all that Bampa fodder?
I do. He goes, I do. Yeah.
And that was real cool. And Mando stepping up, just living that creed. He's a man of his word. You know me and Mando, so it was good to see him sticking to that.
This scene was what I expected to see this entire series. It was perfect. It really was.
Very shootout bad boys.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, here we go, you and me.
Skeeter, are we gonna have to fight about it, or do you agree?
I fully agree.
Outstanding. Okay.
This was that back to back. Here we go.
The cowboy moves.
Yep. Just it was good.
Yeah.
It's the full. I'm in Huckleberry and just handled it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
This was the moment that there was a torch passed here. It was, okay, I'm too old to be the quote unquote Boba Fett. So now you're the new Boba Fett. Like that whole, do you really believe this? I do. And then just that whole, there was so much emotion in the Mandalorian's unchanging mask. It was like, no, dude, I'm here with you. And then whenever they went outside, and then that shot, you're right, like bad boy, they're like back to back as they're just going, gee. Like, you couldn't ask for a more better emotional scene. And it was a torch passing. It was passing it a lightsaber, if you will.
Yeah. And there's a couple of torches that have been passed on this episode. I mean, with what we talked about earlier and with this, there's I say Boba Fett, I love Boba, but I don't want to see him anymore like we've wanted to see him. He can't be that guy anymore. I like him being actually the world's most perfect politician.
And that's what we're going to get.
And I want to see it. I don't want to see his own show anymore, but I want, unless it's just in Boba's world and that's where they do the show around, then I'm good. So I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough.
We'll see what they do on it. Scene 6, Freedom Town comes to save the day. Honestly, I hated this scene. It felt so
very
contrived.
Isolated Civil War, right?
Yeah, it just felt so contrived.
We're all gonna ride on one vehicle,
and then they all get off the heavily armored, armed vehicle and hide behind it.
To be fair, the turret got like all blown to crap, so it kind of have to go when shrapnel's flying.
Yeah,
but,
I felt like they released a new stunt show at Star Wars Land at Disneyland.
Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly
this was
what
the
it was.
scene.
I had no emotional connection with these people, and then they flat up lied about Cobb getting. Well, Cobb was blown to bits, so they're basically saying he's dead, and he's not, because they had to drag him over there so they could get him in the back to tank. Spoilers for the post credit, I know, but
I didn't. Even
I thought that was so weird. Like, why'd you say he was dead? We just see him in the end credits scene. Like, I've thought about that. It's like, was he dead? But then they resurrected him and they put him in there. Like, I'm sorry, if one of you guys are just severely injured, I'm not going to say you're
not
dead.
the deputy. They messed up the deputy.
Screw that guy. But you guys, this doesn't make any sense.
This scene had a lot that could have been done.
Yeah,
this right here was one of the things I'm like, bro, you got R2 in the hangar with an X-wing.
Yeah,
he could have shown up and rained down fire. It could have been amazing when those droids showed up and they just keep shooting the shields with no effect, and maybe another round will do it, or maybe 3 more. It's like.
But we had 20 minutes of these robots, the robot droids, and I started to get bored of it. And you need to cut that in half and give us a little more story.
Yeah, it was supposed to look like all hope is gone. What are they going to do? And back to the
it
wall.
Was too much.
And, to build up the next scene and the entrance that we're about to get, but. It was just a bit much, and I really think it was a missed opportunity here.
Now, I want to hit this
it on the next thing too.
Yeah, I want to hit this, and if this goes on this scene, and I believe it's also on scene 8. There's like this weird love-hate relationship with the country city folks.
Yeah,
that was
odd.
I'm like, that's odd.
I mean, okay, I could see that, but.
But they were trying to build up this huge buddy relationship at the end when they're sniping together. Oh, I got you, city. I got you. Like, this is like a minute of this, and we've never seen you guys together. I don't care about any of you guys at all.
Very contrived.
This is part of the stuff that either they should have cut or just fixed. And this is why my grade is going down at this point. Mm-hmm. Even if my emotional excitement is up, that's a huge, huge mistake. So let's see, scene 7. I just called this one the Robot War. Now, is it just me, or does it feel like they've kind of depowered the Darksaber and the importance of it? He went through and had no effects, and he was able to swing it like it was nothing, and all this lore that we've had with the Darksaber.
He had trouble wielding it.
Did he?
Yeah, you can see he was struggling.
Mm-hmm. He hit it like 3 times, and you could tell it was getting heavier as he was going.
But it did no damage.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Did anybody else recognize when he got knocked down and just kind of left it there? We never really see him pick it back up.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, you see it fly out of his hand.
But that's a problem.
Knocked out of his hand.
Yeah, you should care about that, and I didn't even notice it.
And it was left on the ground, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, he just left the Darksaber just laying there. Like
Grogu picked it up, I'm sure.
And then all of a sudden,
I think that's gonna
it's on his belt.
It's gonna lead into the next season of Mando.
Yeah,
they keep showing his inability to be effective with the Darksaber.
I think they
that's
devalued
important.
it just enough to say, okay, we're not making this about him and the Darksaber and Baby Yoda. They're making this about this battle that's happening, this town fight.
But they could have written their way out of it.
When the battle droids came in, I was like, oh yeah, because I like the Clone Wars cartoon series. I thought it was really good. When they brought that in a real life version of a freaking battle droid, I was like, oh heck yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of was amped up at that point, but then I was like, seriously, dude, you're gonna just keep shooting at it and keep shooting at it.
even though Chris John could reach through it.
Yeah,
like
with his
powered through it.
His shocking brass
knuckles. And I think that's a complaint amongst most viewers.
Now, and they could have written their way out of the Darksaber. They could have made it so he didn't even pull it, because they could have had it, okay, well, during that last battle, it gets heavier and heavier every time I use it. And what if it's too heavy to wield at all at this point? Then it makes sense, okay, he wouldn't even pull it out. So we've forgotten about it, and then we can have it for the next season instead of devaluing. One of the things.
Yeah, I was a little let down when it had no effect. I mean, later on when the shields are,
it goes straight through. I'm like, shut up.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about it now, it's all pointing to what comes next. I think that was just why but it was very frustrating to get to this next scene, you know.
So and the second part of the scene we'll discuss. Even though it was contrived, it gives those most emotional hits when Mando and Grogu get that reunion, and
the weirdest reunion.
It was ill-timed, to say the least.
You're wearing the shirt.
Yeah. You wearing the shirt?
Nice. I think that was written by whoever wrote Neverending Story. Love the movie, but come on, that's kind of the same crap dialogue. Even though emotionally I loved it, I felt good, and I'm like, yes. And then, but you watch it with a critical eye, and you're like, ew.
And was anybody else like super nervous? Like, lady, you just brought Grogu back into the middle of this firefight with robots.
Yeah, they don't. She doesn't know what training he just went through.
Like, this is when I started like, okay, I'm sitting up now. You know, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then we have the mean lady throws a freaking wrench at the droid. Moving you back on bounce. I'm like, I hate you. It's like, you don't want to. How do you make a character that unlikable? I don't know if that's a writing choice or an actor's choice, but okay. So let's move on to scene 8: robots and rancors. I was pretty proud of that, Kyle. I was beyond excited when Boba left. Said, "I still have a friend." I knew right then. I'm like, let's see who's left. Only
one thing left.
However, I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see him coming back with his friend riding the Rancor, Danny Trejo. Yeah. That's what I wanted to see.
It would have been cool.
It does. Danny is his keeper, so I mean he'll still do it what the keeper wants, but he's attached to Boba. That's cool, but I mean I didn't get that, but I loved going in and seeing him, and I'm like seeing the hand go up. One important question, and me and Kevin were discussing this earlier: how freaking fast does a Rancor grow? He went from the size of a horse to the size of King Kong in, I don't know, what's this been, 3 weeks?
Right.
They grow super fast.
Yes.
They eat a lot.
Yeah, they eat a lot.
They eat a lot of Gamorreans. I mean,
I gave it the benefit of the doubt. Just when we first saw it, it was all huddled up on the platform chain down. And then the next time we see it, he's in a dark cave still laying down. I gave it the benefit of the doubt, but I definitely see what you're saying. When it came over that wall, it was like, wow, that thing's massive.
He's huge.
He looks full. He looks
we
as
knew
big
it was
as
coming. I think
he looks as big as the one we saw in Return.
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
I loved how they actually did it, though. Is we heard about the Rancor, we talked about the Rancor 4 or 5 episodes ago, and then we didn't talk about it again. And so when it happened, it had a huge impact. And there's a story That's the way you do it. Because as soon as he said he was leaving, you caught it, but me, I'm thinking, wait a second, the Sand People, are they still alive? Is he going to come back? And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? There's no way he's going to go find the Sand People and bring out what the heck's going on.
That's what I was hoping for.
And then we're going, and as soon as you see that over, I was like, oh my God, there it is. This is the moment. This is the moment. It's the moment. And then you see him coming up. Where's he at? Is he on him? Is he on him? It just, that was such a great foreshadowing in the first couple episodes. And then to see him there, just brilliant.
Yeah,
it was really cool to watch.
I love that we got Godzilla and King Kong in the same scene.
Don't joke.
Like literally, we got Godzilla tearing things apart, and then King Kong climbed that tower and said, "What's up?" and ripped it apart.
Now, I know I'm a violent person, but I wish the robots would have been more of a biotech instead of a regular tech. Because when he ripped it apart, yeah, I mean it was cool, but you want to see parts coming out everywhere, I don't know if that would ever fly in the new Star Wars universe, but Fennec just stabbed a bunch of people in the back and hung them, so I don't know why they couldn't give us that.
Could you imagine though, had they done the entrance and it wasn't just Boba on a Rancor coming in, but he was also backed by 100 Sand People, or whatever we're calling them now.
Tuskens.
Tuskens.
That's their word. You can't use that anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But that's kind of what I was hoping for. It was like, yes, he's probably going to get the Rancor, but what if? This could be so epic. It was still epic. Just that scene of him on the back of it struggling to stay on, we were waiting for it. We got it.
Yeah, this whole episode was a whole lot of almost exactly what you want.
Yeah. Minus all the other things that I wanted. Yeah.
Well, it's almost there, but there might be something to make just a little bit better. And I can't complain too much, but did anybody else catch the cameo from Doug Benson? I'm pretty sure that was Doug Benson in the one of the two guys, stoner guys, looking up at the cafe when the Rancor was destroying everything. You look up, and I'm pretty sure one of those guys was Doug Benson. I'm not positive.
Sure.
I think so. Let's see. Grogu, definitely. He did benefit from his time with Luke because, he has a lot more control over his force power. He's not falling asleep as soon as he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, him pulling out the bolt or whatever.
Well, because Luke's a great teacher. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. C9. Go ahead. Yeah.
Luke's a great guy.
No, he's not. He's a horrible human being. Scene 9, the Bounty Hunter Showdown.
Doug was trying to refrain so bad.
I was trying to pass by that. I just couldn't because y'all stupid. Scene 9, the Bounty Hunter Showdown. It was a good death for Cad Bane.
I agree.
Because he didn't so much get overpowered. He technically won. Boba had more defense.
Because Boba has learned because he's older and he's wiser and he learned now. And he used the Tuskens, what he used from the Tuskens, and he learned there's a growth here. It's not just them standing like Tyler, you mentioned the Clone Wars, the hill hidden, and I've seen it too, the bad computer graphics because it's a deleted scene where they're supposed to stand like this and just shoot each other in the face. No, this right here was a Cad Bane who hasn't grown, same person, and Boba Fett who's been through some stuff. Great.
A lot of personal animosity between them. With Cad Bane, but it was bringing up Boba when he was young and everything, in the bad ways.
And even though he was a bad guy, it was an honorable death, and he deserved that honorable death, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Skeeter, what did you think about that whole thing?
So while we were sitting there, Griffin paused it, and he said, "So you know the story about the dent?" And he explained the story about the dent. I was like, "What?" So then we got a little bit more into it. At that point, there was background to it. There was like, okay, these fools got history, and they're gonna. It's done. This was straight, hey mijo, kind of a Roadhouse situation, but two bad guys. A bad guy and a good guy, and we're about to see this thing come to an end. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. to where we got to see it. It kind of closed the loop on the whole Tuscan piece.
Yeah.
With Boba. You know,
Yes.
he came in hot, did his thing, and then he stood back up and he used the tool, he used his staff.
Yeah.
And freaking Cad Bane looks up and says, I knew you were a killer. And I was like, oh, snap. Wham. But
that was a proud moment for him too, though.
it was. I'm kind of still in the back of my mind. That red light was still blinking. It would have been great if that red light would have extinguished.
Yeah.
You know, it would have beeped and then kind of went dim and went out. Just a writing piece, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of to show that he was actually dead. Because, I mean.
Yeah, now there's a small question mark there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering too.
And I think they wanted to leave that just in case. Like, he sold a lot of toys, you know.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would do more with him. You know, I was like, when he died, I was like, I get it, and the whole scene, I could respect it. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But if they would have like not killed Cad, and they could do more with him later on, he's such a cool character. So fun, man.
Clone Wars, dude. As many times as that guy got wrecked, he never died.
Yeah.
Like he just never died in the Clone Wars.
He's got a tube in his throat, so he doesn't get force choked. I mean,
right?
The guy's he's pretty tough.
He outsmarted Jedis 10-1.
Yeah.
He freaking dude. So is he dead? I love it. Tyler, you said it best. The small question mark got left. Could it happen? Could he be in more? Is there? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, scene 10. Don't kill my Rancor. Was anybody else a little bothered? You're like, don't kill him. Stop it.
Why are you guys shooting him? You just saved your life. What the?
But let's be honest, he's going to eat them if he catches them.
Yes.
It was an emotionally confusing scene.
Yes.
Agreed.
Not the most well-written scene. However, I did like that moment with Grogu and the Rancor.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat.
I thought that because they're mentally about the same. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't think you can teach a Rancor how to force jump across rocks and stuff, but you know,
you never know. But he could walk across them, so he'd be okay, and he wouldn't have to fall asleep after he did.
Size of a dinosaur.
You know, I thought it was a great scene.
Yeah, they brought back. They went, okay, we got to get back hard on the cuteness with Grogu. So
yeah,
when he fell asleep next to him, my wife's next to me. She's like, oh, I'm like, oh, here we go. Gonna sell more product.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah,
and Grogu's turning into a little badass now, right? Like
he's
but then he gets annoying again as soon as he gets in that spaceship. Click, 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 click.
Yeah, but he's still.
I thought that was cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I enjoyed that part.
Let's play.
I'm at this point. I want Grogu to look cute, but I'm sick of him doing annoying cute things.
Why?
I'm kind of done.
I don't like the fact that now we're treating him like a pet because he's like in the back little thingy in the droid pod.
Well, I mean,
like, why is he not riding up front, sitting on your lap? Like, what's up? This is your homie. Like, no.
Would you trust Grogu on your lap in a spaceship?
He trusted.
He plays with stuff.
He still has the knob.
He still has the knob. He's got his knob. He's good.
He's going 300 miles an hour. He needs to be back in his own thing. You know?
Yeah. Plus, when he hits that button. Okay, one more time.
Yeah, I've loved the progression of Grogu to where he's like, there seems to be some healing that took place. I don't know. I'm looking too much into it, but there was healing that took place with Grogu. Hey, this is my family. This is my friend here, and using everything that occurred with all the growing in the Force, he remembers now. He remembers how to use it. He remembers how to act. I truly think, I really, really, really think we're gonna get Grogu and Luke back together. And there's
so he can emotionally abuse him some more. But he'd be manipulative garbage.
Hold on, let me get my.
Yeah, that's fine. You're okay. I'm going to make this statement, and I am not wrong on this. This is a hard statement, we will never see Grogu and Luke together again. And I'll
Never
tell you
again.
why. Luke said that Ben was his first student.
Mhm.
He cannot have him
No, that's fine. I
including
agree.
that. We will
I
never
got no
see them
problem with
together. And I'm happy because he needs to get away from that abusive, because he would have killed him if he didn't try to kill Ben first. Okay, scene 11. Fennec goes Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
You know you had
That
fun
was
on
good.
that scene.
That was so good.
That was fun. And that
Yeah.
was violent.
Yes, it
Violent.
was.
Violent.
Dude, she hung that guy. She
Now-
hung
Yeah.
Now, someone asked me the question when we were watching it. Is her debt to Boba now paid?
It was paid a while ago.
But was she walking away to leave? Is she done?
I think she's going to start up her own.
She could be her own
team.
crime family.
She's going to. I think because she wants in the Spice game, because she likes that coin. I think she's going to get in the Spice game on her own.
Yeah.
And be like, look, I did this. Look what I could do to you. These guys almost wrecked you, Boba Fett. Now look what I can do.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of implications after that. I mean, for one, I think that was part of my issue with this episode too. Is she's like, I got to go kill the boss man, blah blah. She disappears. We get 30 seconds of her violently slaying all the guys. Boom, bam, bam, bam. They're all dead.
Great and small
All
doses.
their problems are gone. It's all
Yeah.
endo storyo, you know. And I was like, that's it. That's all we're
Well,
getting. With the pipe leaders, and you know,
This is the problem when they overpower a character. They don't
Yeah.
know how to do it. It's like
they needed
Superman.
more. They just need another episode or two. You know?
It needed
They're
2 more
always
episodes,
out.
like we said from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a whole other
But-
season.
That scene when he's walking with her and says, we're not made for this or whatever, and then she's like, but who's gonna lead? You know, who's gonna be the next whatever that title is? I keep forgetting. They kind of pan up and kind of you see the mods and you see Black Wookiee there, and
Are they going to be their own crime families?
yeah. What are they hinting at here? You know, who's gonna take the reins? You know. I don't know. I think they were kind of hinting at Boba Fett and Finnick are walking away from there, and then they've returned it back to the people, sort of.
It was an
per se.
incredibly unsatisfying end.
well, they're going to need a mayor.
Everything wrapped
Let
up
the
very
Vespa kids
quickly.
do it.
I think that's what they're kind of pointing at.
Yeah. They're all
They
going to be like,
give it back to the people. You know,
yeah. They're going to control their little areas.
Going to
We're
be the
not built
5
for
boroughs.
this.
Yeah. See, yeah, we started out on this high, and then we dipped a little, then we went back up, and then they just dropped us to the floor. Like, okay,
Mhm.
Okay. So let's hit. That's scene 12, the wrap up scene. We've talked about everything. The post credit scene. We have Thundercat creating Cobb Vanth as a cyborg. And if you missed it in the beginning, is Boba Fett going to give up his armor and make him cyborg so that he has the armor, which they've mentioned a million times, so he can truly pass the mantle? I think that's where they're going with it.
I wasn't thinking of that until you said it. I actually did not even know who was in the Bantha tank. I looked at it 3 or 4 times.
Really?
I could not tell, and so I went online to see the end credit scene explained. I'm like, wait, he's dead. That's why I didn't even think to question that was him, because you told me he was dead. You can't tell me he's dead and then not be dead.
Look how angry he gets. It's cute.
They're your friends. Tyler, you're my friend. If you're severely injured, I'm not going to go around telling everybody you're dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Dude, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Only Thundercat can fix him.
But no, it's gonna be cool.
It makes sense. I could see it coming. When you said that, it falls in line. I think.
I don't think anything else is going to satisfy me, because I want to see Boba, the new Boba. I don't care about Boba in the armor anymore. He doesn't need to be there. He's had his time. He's too old. He's Danny
alternative.
Glover. He's too old for this stuff.
What's the alternative, though? He said we're not built for this, and what's he built for?
To be the politician.
He sheds the armor.
He sheds the armor, and he's the politician.
Yeah.
He's the king, the leader, the president, the whatever that
He's
planet
in the
has.
palace. He's gonna sit in the palace and
So did we just build a bigger, badder villain? But if that's the case,
No,
he's
I
going
don't
to become a politician. None of
Well,
those
but no,
guys
going
are
back-
actually good
Going back, I
in the
think,
Star Wars world.
but he can see both sides. He's one of the few that can.
Sure.
He's a truly neutral character. Like,
He's neutral good.
yeah, he's neutral good. I can give you that. No, I would love to be a passing a torch. As soon as you said him actually having the armor, it kind of made sense to where everything's going. And then
Yeah.
now you can continue to sell Boba Fett toys. Now you can continue with a new story that's not attached to
Obi-Wan.
Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 that we've seen different iterations of. Now we can create new stuff. You know?
he's gonna go sit in the palace, and he's gonna find himself a bride, and then he's gonna have his bride be like super strong and smart, and she's gonna start a campaign.
It's gonna be a hut.
Just say no to spice. And
Oh
then-
my gosh, stop. I know where you're going with this. We're done. Okay, let's move on. We're giving 2 grades. We're giving our grades for this episode, and we're giving our grades for the series. Woo-wee. I am looking forward to hearing this. Kevin, what is your non-political grades for both of these?
I'm sorry, I just love the
Start with
Nancy
the episode.
reference. That's hilarious.
Start with the episode.
All right, episode. I'm giving it A-. I love the episode. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but nothing is. It's such a. I had fun, and it's in regards to just the entire season. This show single-handedly over. And I've mentioned this before. The last 2 seasons of Mandalorian and this has actually brought me back into the fold of Star Wars. I have fallen in love with it again. I remembered why I loved it as a kid, and I had lost that for a bunch of years. And so I'm giving this season an A.
Wow.
It's really it has helped me immensely coming back to Star Wars.
And this is how you can tell this is your first full season with us. Skeeter, what is your 2 grades?
So I'm going with the B for fan service on the episode, because it was a lot of fan service. That's what they did. I mean, we saw multiple things from multiple different shows, a lot of Easter eggs. I mean, he beat up. If you look at the artwork and the post credit, Luke's speeder was getting tossed around by the rain.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was cool.
there was a lot of
I forgot about that.
throwbacks to our childhood. So I'm going to stick with the B there. The series, all total, combined the last 3 episodes, I was at strong B's with all 3 of them B pluses. I think I'm just going to stick it at A- for the entire show.
Fair enough.
With three more episodes, we could have spread things out. We could have done it the right way and really made something spectacular, and given everybody a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens
That's fair.
when we
Tyler.
see Bo-Katan in the next one.
Maybe.
This episode, I'm gonna go ahead and give it. I'm gonna give it a B. Just because, like I said, for me, it kind of fell flat. They did so much before this; it was impossible to up the ante in the finale, which is generally what you want to see. I had so many ideas in my head, expectations like they've got to do this, or they're definitely going to do that, but none of it happened. It kind of seemed they just didn't, like we talked about, they didn't have enough time. They tried to wrap up all the little things at the end. They should have stretched a couple things out, but it also had some great fan service. We got a lot of the really cool stuff we were hoping for still. So I'm giving it a B. The series, I'm giving an A-, just because of the season length.
Yeah.
I feel it could have been a couple more episodes, just like we all do.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot more. They could have broke up. They could have made. There were ways to make the Luke Skywalker stuff not feel so out of place, and like what
Have it
just
as its own
happened
show.
in the Mando stuff. Like just why did we just get 2 solid episodes of this? They could have broke it up more if they had more time, more to work with. But I understand they probably have limitations production wise and everything. So like I said,
Fair enough. Okay, so I'm giving actually 3 scores. I'm giving my emotional score was an A+ on this episode. I was beyond ecstatic. On a realistic episode, when I looked at it with a critical eye, it's at best a C+, because of all the massive problems with this. If you take all the emotion out and the member berries and all that out, it was at best an okay episode. I'm sorry, it is. There was so much that wasn't answered, that was out of place, that was just thrown in there, that was insulting to your intelligence. It truly was. So we're going to average those out to a B. Now, my season, because of the length, because of the having in a short season, you have 2 filler episodes that have nothing to do with the show. So they gave us 5 episodes of what should have been a 10-episode show. I can't give it more than a B-. If we would have those 3 other episodes, we're talking easily an A-. I wish I didn't feel that way. And I loved this show. Don't get me wrong. Emotionally, I am in, and there's a lot I loved about this show.
Oh yeah.
But there's when even when your heroes screw up, you got to call them out. And they had some huge screw ups in this. They gave you enough that you're like, yeah, I like this. Notice I didn't say love this.
Right.
And then I think this could have been a multitude better than any of the Mandalorian. I think this could have been the best thing we've seen out of Star Wars. And they just kind of dropped the ball with the length and with some of the decisions they made. Sorry,
Fair
don't
enough.
get mad at me. Okay, so that was an episode. Check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use com. We paid extra for it. In fact, it's back up, you guys. Yeah, the website went down for a couple days. Sorry about that, guys. It's back up. And go to the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the smoke signals, the whatever. Go to our Patreon, order a shirt. So you can be like me and Skeeter here and Tyler, and not Kevin, because Kevin's not cool enough to wear one yet. He's still a probie. He's still
The
an
website
intern
was
basis.
down. I tried to order one. So just throwing it out there.
Nice.
Okay, that's fair. So until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Tyler. I'm here with Skeeter. We're here with Kevin. And Christina was here earlier. Keep on geeking on, guys. We'll see you next time.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.